Hello again. I am so glad to be able to sit with you once more. Tonight, our story will not be about monsters born from the primal dark, but about a creature that reigns over both the darkness and the light. Pour yourself a cup of tea, and let us turn one of the greatest pages of mythology. This is the story of two beings at two ends of the world who share a name but are two completely opposite souls. This is the story of the Long of the East and the Dragon of the West. Eastern Dragon, long verses. Western Dragon, a duality of symbols. Have you ever wondered how the same concept, a winged lizard, a great serpent, could be seen so differently by two halves of the world? When a Western knight in his iron armor looks to the sky, he sees a grotesque silhouette, a pair of leathery wings eclipsing the sun. He sees a dragon. It is a curse, a plague, a living embodiment of hell on earth. He draws his sword. At the same time, on the other side of the globe, an eastern farmer plows his rice paddy. He looks up at the sky, where the clouds churn. He sees a sinuous form weaving in and out of the mists. He sees a long. It is an omen, a deity, a symbol of life. He clasps his hands in prayer. One is an enemy to be destroyed. The other is a god to be worshipped. Why this staggering difference? The answer does not lie in the sky. It lies on the ground. It lies within the very land, the rivers, and the souls of the civilizations that dreamed them into being. This is the story of two mirrors, reflecting two completely different worlds. Chapter 1. The form of fear and the form of harmony. Let us begin by simply looking at them. In their very appearance, a whole story is told. Let us go to the west, to a land of jagged mountains, gloomy forests, and dark castles. Here, the dragon was born. It is a monster assembled from the worst fears of the Middle Ages. It is a giant lizard, an offense against God. Its body is covered in thick, impenetrable scales, hard as forged iron. It has 4 massive legs, with the talons of a lion or an eagle, the apex predators. But the most terrifying detail is its wings. These are not the feathered wings of an angel. They are the vast, leathery, membranous wings of a bat, a creature of the night, cursed, associated with demons and vampires. The dragon is a violation of the natural order. It is a serpent, reminiscent of the snake in the Garden of Eden, the one who brought original sin to mankind. It is an ultimate predator. Now, let us cross the sea to the east, to a land of fertile deltas, great winding rivers, and life-giving monsoon rains. Here, the Long reigns. It is not a monster. It is a deity. The Long is not a singular creature, but a divine amalgamation of all creation. It is a chimera of harmony. Legend says the Long is a combination of 9 animals: the body of a snake, symbolizing the flow of rivers, of energy; the scales of a carp, willpower; the perseverance to leap the waterfall and become a dragon; the antlers of a deer, nobility, longevity; the eyes of a shrimp, brilliance; the claws of an eagle, strength; and the face, often bearing the long whiskers of a wise sage. Notice this: the Eastern Long has no wings, but it flies. It does not fly with muscle. It swims through the clouds. It undulates like a river in the sky, powered by the divine energy of the cosmos. The Western dragon is a creature against nature. The Eastern Long is nature itself. Chapter 2. The breath of hell and the breath of life. Their essence is best revealed through the element they command. The Western dragon breathes fire. Think about fire in the medieval European psyche. Fire is destruction. It is the wild inferno that burns villages, crops. It is the most brutal weapon of war. And, most importantly, through the lens of Christianity, fire is the fire of hell. It is God's punishment, the breath of Satan. When a dragon breathes fire, it is an act of absolute chaos, of defiance against God. Its fire is an anti-life force. It takes everything, turning civilization to ash, turning people to charred corpses. It is pure terror. The Eastern Long controls water. Now, think about water in the mind of an agricultural, rice-growing civilization like Vietnam or China. Water is everything. Water is life. A timely rain means a bountiful harvest, the survival of an entire nation. But water is also a terrifying force. A drought can kill tens of thousands. A flood, like the wrath of the Red River or the Yellow River, can wash everything away. The Long, as the dragon king, Long Vuong, who rules the deep palaces of the sea, who commands the clouds, rain, rivers, and oceans, is the embodiment of that delicate balance. People did not fear the Long in the way they feared the dragon. They revered, worshipped, and petitioned the Long. They held rain-praying ceremonies, praying for favorable wind and rain. When the Long granted rain, it was a blessing. When the Long grew angry and caused a flood, it was heaven's punishment. The Long's power was not random malice. It was the great, life-giving and life-taking power of nature itself. One is the enemy of life, fire. The other is the giver and taker of life, water. Chapter 3. The enemy of order and the protector of order. From this, we come to the most profound difference, their role in the human cosmos. Listen to a Western fairy tale. A kingdom lives in peace. Suddenly, a dragon appears. What does it do? It attacks the castle. It kidnaps the princess, the symbol of purity, of the kingdom's future. And, most characteristically, it hoards treasure. Let us analyze this act. The dragon crawls into a dark mountain cave, gathers all the gold and jewels of the kingdom, and sleeps on it. It doesn't use the gold. It doesn't spend it. It simply removes wealth from the circulation of society. The dragon is the personification of greed, one of the 7 deadly sins. It is the symbol of chaos, of selfishness, of a dead stillness. It is the enemy of civilization. For order to be restored, for the kingdom to be saved, the hero must kill the dragon. Its death is the victory of order over chaos, of good over evil. Now, listen to an Eastern origin myth. When King Li Tai To decided to move his capital, he saw a golden dragon ascend from the land of Dai La. He named the new capital Thang Long, soaring dragon. This was the highest possible blessing, signaling a prosperous dynasty that would last 1,000 years. The Long does not kidnap princesses. The Long does not hoard gold. On the contrary, the Long is the very source of order and authority. In Eastern countries, the Long is the supreme symbol of the emperor. The emperor is the son of heaven, Tain Tur. The robe he wears is the dragon robe, Long Bao. The throne he sits on is the dragon throne, Long Sang. The 5-clawed golden dragon is the exclusive symbol of the king. The Long represents divine power, the mandate of heaven, the cosmic order that the king is responsible for maintaining on earth. And in Vietnam, the Long carries an even more intimate and sacred meaning. We are the children of the dragon, grandchildren of the immortal Con Rong Chao. We are the descendants of Father Lac Long Quan. The dragon here is the ancestor, the progenitor, the very source of the nation. One is the greatest obstacle to order. The other is the creator and protector of that order. Chapter 4. The Hunt and the Worship. How humans interact with them is the inevitable consequence of all this. The West is defined by a culture of dragon slaying. Name their greatest heroes. St. George, the patron saint of England, famous for slaying a dragon to save a princess. Siegfried, or Sigurd, of Norse Germanic myth, who became invincible after bathing in the blood of the dragon Fafnir. Beowulf, in the final battle of his life, sacrificed himself to kill a fire dragon. Slaying a dragon is a rite of passage. It is the ultimate test of courage, of faith. The relationship between man and dragon is hostile and adversarial. It is an uncompromising war between civilization and wilderness, man and monster, good and evil. The East is defined by a culture of dragon worship. Have you ever heard an Eastern fairy tale where the hero sets out to kill a dragon? It's very rare. If it happens, it is usually a Yao Long, a lesser, evil flood dragon, not a divine Long. Instead of hunting, we worship the Long. We build temples to the Dragon King. Every Lunar New Year, we perform the dragon dance to chase away evil spirits and bring good fortune. We hold dragon boat festivals, like during the Duanwu Doan Inga festival, to pray for favorable weather, to show respect to the river gods. We do not seek to conquer the Long. We seek to live in harmony with the Long. The relationship is one of reverence and dependence. Conclusion: two immortal mirrors. And so, our story comes to a close. Why this strange, perfect duality? Look again at the land that birthed them. The Western dragon is the product of a harsh Europe, a land divided by treacherous mountains, dark forests, a history filled with war, invasion, a worldview defined by the dualism of Christianity, God and Satan, heaven and hell, good and evil. In that world, anything vast, wild, uncontrollable, and not of God, like the primordial serpent, was automatically considered of the devil. The dragon was the perfect symbol for all that humanity needed to conquer. The Eastern Long is the product of vast, fertile, agricultural civilizations, a world defined by great rivers, by the cycle of the monsoon. Survival depended on the harmony of heaven and earth. Their philosophies, like Taoism, Confucianism, emphasized not good versus evil, but balance, yin-yang, cycles, cosmic order, and ancestral reverence. The Long was the perfect symbol for that balanced, vast power of the cosmos and the authority of the ancestors. The fire in our tent is dying down, but the story of the Long and the dragon will never end. Today, even in modern Western fantasy like Game of Thrones, dragons, Drogon, Rhaegal, are still the ultimate weapons of destruction, the personification of fire, war, and chaos, no matter how complex they are. And in the East, the Long still reigns on temple roofs, in festivals, and in the very name of our capital, Thung Long. It remains the symbol of luck, of power, of national pride. In the end, the Long and the dragon are not just two monsters. They are two completely different answers to one eternal human question. What does the greatest power in the universe look like? The West answered, it is an enemy to be conquered. The East answered, it is a god to be revered. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any videos. See you soon.